It started when Mr. Taquay Wallace was killed in 2009, and I went to his wake. And I remember my sister said to me, say something. And so I got up and I spoke, and I talked about the richest place in the world right now is the graveyard. And when I got done speaking, I remember my sister was crying, and I sat down beside her after I got done, and my sister said, just like as plain as the note, she just said, brother, if you're running, they're ready now. And I remember I couldn't sleep that night. And I remember the next day I said, Dad, I'm running. And then my dad said, well, you better get your platform ready. And then what makes you think you can change the city when they couldn't change it? And I said, Dad, hope, faith, and love. The greatest of these is love. I love this city with my whole heart. But I also understand that it's gonna take more than love to get it back. We sat down and we said, this is what we're gonna do. And the first thing they said was, how are we gonna attack it? And I said, I'm gonna knock on every door in this city. The day before Labor Day, and I remember I was telling my sister I was gonna run, and my sister was like, go ahead, bro. You know, she was like, you gonna win, don't worry. She spoke it so vividly, like it was like real to her. And she made me believe it. And then about 3:30 in the morning, there were shots fired. And my sister was shot and killed. And I remember I whispered to my mom, and I said, Mom, she gone. And that scream my mom let out to this day still stays in my mind. It was just like the world had changed at that moment. And then in September, that's how I healed. I knocked on doors. I said, hey, I'm DwanWalker. I'm running for mayor for the city of Aliquippa. Will you help me? I remember just knocking on doors, and I would use that time to talk to God. I would use that time to talk to my sister. 87 till now, Aliquippa is the longest standing third-class city to be in distressed status. You shouldn't be in it that long, but here we are. The city had faced a deficit of $358,000. So there was like a Act 47 plan that the city had to follow back then in order to get out of Act 47. Let's say 1987, the city had the mill shut down. But then in that same time frame, the population had eroded. And then you got fast forward with a hospital shut down. So the city had faced two, let's say, quote unquote, tragedies or two hardships that kept it in Act 47. We hired qualified candidates to be in this office. We also got a grant where we upgraded the computer system. And now everybody has updated computers. Now we're in the 21st, heading into the 21st century. All change is not cosmetic. I know we planted enough seeds in the first 2 years that I've been in office that this administration has been here. We have planted enough seeds, and we're gonna start harvesting. But you can't expect change in 2.5 years when you had a foundation that was so shaky, that wasn't even a foundation. It was on sinking sand. But we're humble enough to say we're not where we wanna be, and we gotta get better. And that's what I think is important. We will get better. And the goal for my city is to get everybody engaged in the process, be it elections or whatever, but get engaged in your city. Every little fight that has to do with the city making progress, we need to get involved. If you're born and raised here, you know that Aliquippa is not as bad as you think, as outsiders see it. You know, that's the reputation that people need to dispel. Don't be afraid to come to Aliquippa. There's a lot of love here. There's a lot of passion here. There's a lot of people that want to do right, be right, act right.